Here we go. All right, good people. What's up, man? It's Trenton Davis, Father's Day podcast episode, I think 13. It doesn't matter. I'm super excited today because I'm at Laffs Comedy Caffe in Tucson, and I got the owner, Mr. Gary Bynum, to sit down with me and do a podcast. Gary, thank you for coming.
Thank you. Did you say this is a Father's Day podcast?
Yeah, that's the name of my podcast, Father's Day.
I'm not your father, Trent.
You're not. You are not my father. That's true. The whole point of it is me talking to people that are in the business, that are fathers, and talk about what kind of sacrifices they made to make it work on the path. But
Father, that's cool for father. I didn't know that's what this was going to be. It was a Father's Day thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of fitting.
It's fitting.
My sons are taking over the club, huh?
There we go. Is he in there? No, he left.
No, they left.
So let's talk about it real quick. So you got two sons.
They heard there was a podcast and they ran out.
So we got Casey and Ian. This is my first weekend ever meeting Ian.
Well, Casey's the GM.
Casey's the GM.
He's my 38-year-old. He's running the club. He's been running it for several years now.
Okay.
And I've been booking the rooms, basically my main job. And now Ian, my 31-year-old, is taking that over from me.
Oh, he's doing the booking.
Well, he's into comedy. He knows his way around comedy, and I call him a comedy baby because being 31 years old, that's how long I've been in the business. And when he was about 3 weeks old, and we had opened Albuquerque in September of 1986.
86.
And we had dug a hole in the office floor to put a floor safe in. And the hole was still there, dirt about 3 feet deep, and a pile of dirt next to it. And it was the office, like I said, but the club was open and running, and we were busy as hell.
Right.
And we had the rake and the shovel laying next to the hole to keep the baby from rolling into the hole. Because Ian was laying on the floor because he was such a young baby.
Right.
We didn't, trust him with a babysitter.
Yeah.
So that's,
So Laffs started in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
September 1986. We opened with Kozak, the magician. Kozak now has a room, and he's got his own gig on
in Vegas?
the Big Island. No, Big Island.
Oh, in Hawaii.
In Hawaii. Kona.
Really?
Kona, yeah. He's doing good. He's real happy out there. My wife tells him he's got a nice house and got a cute little bulldog, and he's just happy as hell.
Good for him.
Being a surfer.
How long have you been married?
Married? It'll be 41 years this September.
41 years. That's one of the few to make it that long.
Comedy's a piece of cake.
Compared to marriage?
You said it, I did.
So you've seen everybody. I mean, from 31 years in the business.
I've seen the old ones, not a lot of the new ones. You know what? I got to tell you, I'll be honest with you. Quite frank, I don't even know a lot of the new ones. A lot of the new comics. I don't even know them. Ian, that's where he comes in.
Right.
He knows a lot of the new faces, new names. I don't keep up anymore. I don't know. I got to be honest. I'm just not that into it anymore.
Yeah, no, that's fair. This is the thing that I'm sure every young comic in the world is going to ask, and they would want to ask, and probably not have the balls to ask.
Young comics?
Yeah,
I know the question, man.
Right.
Can I headline next time through?
Well, of course they won't say, can I headline? But they want to know, what are you looking at when you book a guy? Let me just say this real quick. So I started at Laffs in 2011. And for people who don't know, I'm headlining this week, but I did 2 years of hosting. Then I did 3 years of featuring. And then, so this is only my second headline. And then I did 2 co-headlinings. And now I've got the headliner. So my point is, it's a process.
Yeah.
And you're right. The younger people want to say, I want to skip the line and go straight to headlining.
Right.
So what do you look for when you decide a guy, okay, he's good enough to even host?
Two things come to mind. What I look for in a comic is what Richard Belzer and I talked about driving him, speaking of old comics.
Yeah.
Driving him to the airport in Albuquerque after his gig in Albuquerque, and we're driving out there. I said, so Richard, what should I look for when I book comics? Because I was kind of new to the game at that time. And I said, so what do you look for when you're booking comics? And he goes, man, if they ain't laughing, you ain't funny. I look for funny.
Okay.
And I don't care what your act is.
Yeah.
If you're funny, you're funny. Crowds will tell me you're funny.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that one I kind of pinned myself was I never met an opener who couldn't middle who couldn't headline, and a headliner wasn't making twice what I pay him. So, they're just never happy. And I understand that aspect of the business because obviously working for, 100, $200 a week as an opener sucks. You got to move up. It's work.
Right.
You got to work at it to get better.
Yeah.
But I think people move up because of the difference between hobby comics, what I call them.
Yep.
Joe Mechanic who thinks he's funny at work and now he's going to go to the club and get on stage and look at I can rock this place, Whereas on the other hand, professional comics, you can tell them at a pretty young age. They're driven. They're into it.
Yeah.
They're respectful of the profession. They know what they have to do, and they work hard to do it. And they get better and better as a result.
Yeah.
Like yourself, for instance.
Thank you, man. I hope so.
You never opened here, did you?
Yeah.
Did you?
2 years straight.
Wow.
If you remember, I had a day job. That's true. I had a day job. And I remember emailing you and I said, hey, I'll come down on my own and do a guest set. And you said, okay. And then you said, okay, I'll give you a host weekend. And so I could come down on my day job so it didn't cost any money and I could host.
What was your day job? What'd you do?
I sold industrial, at the time, valves and fittings for a company called Parker. Yeah. So, but that's why I could travel because this was part of my territory.
Did you come to Tucson frequently?
Yeah. Well, at least 2 or 3 times. I came to Arizona, and I could then get to Tucson at least 2 or 3 times a year. Yeah.
I never told you not to give your day job up.
No.
Good. See, it's paid off for you, huh?
Yeah.
That's good.
So, what's the biggest headache from any comics, but definitely, of course, new comics? But what's the biggest headaches that comics do to get on a booker's nerves? So eventually, you'll say, you know what, I'm not booking that guy anymore. Or that person. I keep saying guy. Person.
God, that's a tough one because there's so many ways.
Give us all of them. No, I want the young
These are good
comics to know
questions.
it. Yeah.
I've never been asked that before. I think just the refusal to take no for an answer at that level. And when I say no, I don't mean across the board no.
Right.
I mean no at that time for that slot.
Gotcha.
An opener wants to middle, and I tell him, I try to tell them, I know they already know it. It's a highly competitive business.
Yes.
You guys, I can't imagine a more competitive field of work to be in than being a comedian.
Right. I agree.
That when these guys opening want a middle, or when a middle wants to headliner, you're dropping yourself into a whole new category of competition. Mm-hmm. A whole new field. And they think, because the biggest mistake I think comics make is they think, oh, well, I've got 15 minutes, I can open.
Right.
I've got 30 minutes, I can middle.
Yeah.
I've got 45, I can headline.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but can you compete at that level?
Yeah.
You might have the time, but I've got 400 other comics who kick your ass.
Right.
So who do I hire?
Right.
Just because you have the time, I'm going to give you a week.
Right.
I'm going to give it to the guy who's funnier than you are.
Yeah, and not only that means if you give me a headlining spot, somebody else has to get kicked out of that rotation.
It's dog eat dog.
Yeah.
And that's the nature of the biz, and it's. I think same would prove true in Hollywood. That where all the guys go to get in the business. They're the industry people. You got to be there at the right time, the right place.
Yeah.
And somebody's sitting in that crowd who has the power to make you what you want to be.
Right. No, I agree.
I think that's what happened to Tim Allen. He was sitting at our bar, and he used to rock this room. He'd come as a special show because he was on Showtime, of course.
Okay.
Kind of interesting about Allen because he would come in here and kick ass and sell out.
Really?
And he was a special show, and he got big bucks to do it. In Albuquerque, I didn't book him in Albuquerque because Showtime was not available in Albuquerque.
So nobody would know him. And
so nobody had any idea who Tim Allen was. He was sold out the room down here.
Yeah.
But he was sitting at the bar here one time with my big brother on one of his runs through here. And he said, Ed, I'm hot. I'm getting ready to pop. I can feel it.
Really?
Sure as hell, within 4 months, ABC picked him up on Home Improvement.
Yeah.
And 4 months before Seinfeld was picked up, Seinfeld was working here.
Really?
Yeah, he came through here in 1989.
Oh, my goodness.
This club opened in 88, by the way, and Seinfeld came in early 89, I believe it was.
Are Tim Allen and Seinfeld probably the biggest names?
Well, among others. I mean, of contemporary, within the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
But I mean, Phyllis Diller's worked here.
Really?
And a name that many young comics probably never heard of is Pat Paulson.
Pat Paulson.
Do you know him?
I don't.
Hell no, you don't. See? Here's what's interesting about Pat Paulson.
Okay.
That dude was probably the biggest name in comedy on the Smothers Brothers show.
Okay.
Because of his claim to fame, he was not running for president. He had a very droll, deadpan face, much like Stephen Wright. But he would get on there and make campaign speeches and always say, if nominated, I will not run. And he was funny. And the Smothers Brothers, of course, were infamous for being canceled by CBS.
Yeah.
But that was Pat Paulson, and he would come in and he had his America Line coat. He had the red, white, and blue flags on the inside of his suit coat saying, I will not run. But he came in a couple times. Then he opened his winery in Northern California. And I don't know what year he died. But he's been gone for quite some time.
Okay. Wow.
Other names, God, I've had Dennis Miller, Robin Williams walked into this Tucson room in 1990, I believe. He was staying up here at a hotel, and one of my local comics was a tennis pro.
Okay.
And Robin was out knocking balls around on the court, and the kid asked him, said, would you come into the Laffs and do a guest set? He said, oh, yeah, okay. So he walked in here and did an hour.
What?
I heard about that for probably 15 to 18 years after that happened.
Good or bad when you say you heard about it? People would talk about it.
Christ, good.
Yeah, okay. Robin people Williams, have,
He was at the height of his career. That, of course, I don't think Robin Williams had a down in his career.
Right. But yeah, he was. So he did an hour out the blue.
He went in. I mean, we introduced him from off stage and goes up there and just Robin Williams for an hour. People drop their jaw. It's like, holy shit. We came in to see Joe Blow, the headliner this week.
Right. And the biggest name in the world.
Robin freaking Williams shows up. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. That is amazing. So how have you seen from your side of it? How have you seen comedy change over the last 30 years?
I still have to qualify myself as being older.
Okay.
And I don't know that I've seen it change that much.
Okay. That's interesting.
I guess what I would say has changed. It's not as what's the word? Gender specific or not as political. I mean, there used to be a lot of political comics who come through.
Right.
And they'd kick ass. You don't see that much anymore because such division in the United States. Maybe that's what they're trying to do is play it safe.
Yeah, well, you're right. And now...
Offensive. I know what I was trying to think of. It's offensive. It's like now you have to be politically correct.
Yes.
You can't offend a specific race or creed or culture, you know, and it's just, it's ridiculous, It's become so constrained. It's like... I couldn't be a comic today if I tried.
Oh, it's hard. It's harder to make people laugh and at the same time not offend them anymore. You're walking a tightrope for sure. You're definitely walking a tightrope. But I'm hoping that the pendulum will spin back, right? So it's swung to be too politically correct. And you could argue, I don't know if it's right, you could argue that for the last X number of years, we weren't worried about that at all. So there's got to be a place in the middle that allows you to make fun of certain things because we got to know that it's a joke and it's a comedy club of all places.
I don't think we're there yet, and I don't think we're going to get there for a while because that pendulum's still swinging
the other way.
I can't say right or left. I mean, it's something that like the Me Too movement and all these things. I mean, you can't say a word anymore without offending somebody.
I agree.
And it's. I mean, in many ways, it's good. I'm sure it is, but on the other hand, it's like. I don't know. I think it goes a little too far sometimes.
Would you say you're booking more female headliners now than you were 20 years ago?
Nope.
Oh, you think you're doing more, about the same?
That's, not the female viewers out there in this podcast. It has nothing to do with booking fewer or more.
Right.
I don't make any
judgment.
No, it's not. I don't make any specific. I don't put aside specific slots for females.
Gotcha.
Like, if I'm booking funny and I'm looking through my roster and I see this, that, or people are writing me emails asking for dates, male or female, boom.
Yeah.
If you're funny and you're on the list of hire, bang, I'm hiring you.
Gotcha.
And I don't have a preference.
Yeah.
Male or female, black or white, green or yellow, I don't care. Funny, man, that's what I want.
So you made a comment in that answer. How many emails do you think you receive a day or maybe a week from comics trying to get booked?
A day. I'd say on average, and I'm going to be honest, I'd say between 5 and 10 a day.
Okay.
A day.
Yeah, a day.
Some days, 20.
Yeah.
Some days, 2 or 3.
Right.
I can't think of any days none.
No matter what.
It's always some. Always some. And I love female comics. I mean, they've got a different perspective.
Yep.
And I don't get as many female comics as I do male comics.
Right.
I don't know why, because like I said, I don't really call it according to sex. I just call it according to whether you're funny or not.
Yeah.
That's business, folks.
Yeah, that's day job.
Sound of business.
It's ringing.
It's funny. I have a 3-ring rule. Randy Butler at Hyenas can even attest to this.
Okay.
If that phone rings over 3 times, your ass is fired.
Really? And it works because it only rang once. So
if we're sitting there and it rings over 3 times, let's go looking
and see what's going on.
We're going to go find which manager's
Well, we kicked him out the office.
Yeah, but they got their phones.
Oh, they got the cordless.
That's another thing that's happened is phones are wireless now.
So you mentioned Randy at Hyenas.
Yeah.
So do pretty much most of the club owners / bookers know each other? Like,
No.
do you know a lot of them? You don't?
No.
Okay. All right.
I know of far fewer now.
Okay.
Than I did before.
Right.
Another reason I find myself just kind of removing myself from the business.
Yeah.
I'm just not as involved as I used to be.
Gotcha.
And no, I knew of bookers in the Midwest. I mean, I still know Roger Paul. Roger's still doing it out of New York.
Yeah.
Great guy. But I know of club owners, a few of them, but not many.
Okay.
And I don't care. I don't care to know them.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I asked is because I think some comics can maybe burn a bridge somewhere and think it won't get out. And I think it gets out. When you burn a bridge, especially depending on how bad you burn that bridge, it gets out to other club owners, and they're like, "No, I don't want to book you. I don't want to bring that here."
See, that's another thing. I'm not on Facebook.
Yeah.
The club is.
Yes.
Both my sons, they man the Facebook account, and I'm making sure they got websites and all that stuff. But no, I don't. I'm not on social media.
Yeah.
So the word gets out. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Social media. And I don't know, man. Sometimes I guess that's good, and other times I don't think it's so good.
Yeah. How has pay changed over the 30 years for the comics? Has it gone up, down, or about around the same?
It stayed pretty much the same.
Okay.
Headliners, I would say, has gone down a little bit.
Right.
Overall, I don't know.
Yeah.
Overall, I don't know.
Okay.
In my company now,
right.
And this is the only club I have now. At one time we had 4 of them, but now it's like this is the only one I have.
Okay.
And we're only open on weekends.
Right. And is that why? Because you used to be open all week?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were open 7 shows a week and
really
open mic night on Tuesday. Yeah, we were open Tuesday through Sunday.
Yeah. And so, has it gone down because the number of people coming to see live shows has gone down because of Netflix or Twitter or whatever they're doing at home? Right? Like, if you used to be open, if you had 7 shows a week, that means people were coming to all 7 shows.
Well, I know that, when I say that dirty word that comics don't like to hear is paper.
Okay.
Paper, telemarketing, because we still telemarket, and I think a lot of clubs do.
Okay.
And then also, we had an incident 3-4 years ago. The fire department here in Tucson cut our showroom in half. We went from seating capacity of 300 to 150.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that happened. We'd been rated, our certificate of occupancy was rated at 299.
Okay.
Since 1988. And in 2014, they came in here and said, how do you get that many people in the showroom? And I said, well, you gave us our C of O. And they looked at the documents and said, yeah, but this isn't right.
Right.
So they remeasured and said, no, you're only allowed to have 150 people according to fire codes.
Oh, my God.
So they cut us in half.
Yeah.
So the bad news is we lost half our business. The good news is we only have to fill 150 seats now. So we're hanging on. I mean, I don't have a lot. I've always been good about keeping debt in check. So that was 2, folks.
That was 2.
So anyway, it's going. We're doing good. The boys are doing okay here. Casey's making a living. Ian helps me in my commercial real estate, which is my primary endeavor now. Okay. I still watch the club, just quality control. Right. And making sure that the comics are funny and the club's clean and the food's good. Yeah. And just doing what I do best. So bitch.
So how soon do you think you'll be out of it for good? You think you'll just be consultant?
Seeing how it's the boys. I mean, I'll still be involved.
Yeah.
But, not to the degree that I have been the last 30 years. I'll say this year.
Yeah.
Probably at the end of this year will be probably
really
my exit.
So how does Casey and Ian like it? How do they like the business?
Well, I think Casey likes it because he's his own boss.
Yeah.
And Ian likes it because he likes comedy.
Yeah. Okay.
He likes comedy, so he's into it for that reason.
Yeah.
And Ian's meticulous. Casey's a neat freak, so
right.
That's what I like. I want a clean atmosphere and good food. Like I said, the things that are important to the customer.
Yeah. Did either one of them ever try comedy?
No.
Neither.
Nope. Neither did. Neither did. I don't need the rejection. It's like I never. I've been on stage, and doing little roasts with a written script.
Right.
I thought it was pretty damn funny.
Everybody thinks they're funny.
I went up. I know. I went up at Hoodie's. Hoodie's Memorial.
Yes.
And I was the first speaker there, and I'd written a little ditty, and I thought it went well. And,
good.
And
we got to talk about Hoodie, if only for 2 minutes. So tell people who Gary Hood is. I know him. He's such a great guy.
He worked for me here for, off and on 25 years. He went to Dallas and worked for Butler at Hyenas for about 10 years.
Okay.
And he came back to work for me within 2 weeks when I called him. When I got the club back, I took the club back in 2008 after I'd sold it to another guy.
Okay.
And he had it for several years, and then he couldn't do it anymore, gave up. He's a comedian, so he was more interested in the stage than he was getting the club run. Right?
Yeah.
So he bailed out, and I still held the note, the paper.
Okay.
So I took the club back in 2008.
Okay.
And at that time, that's what the hell was the question?
That's when Hoodie came back to work with you.
Hoodie came back to work. Yeah, I called him in Dallas and I said, "Hey man, I need you to come back to work."
Yeah.
So that's
he moved in and moved back, and good for him, man.
He came back and went to work right away, and he was an invaluable guy to me. There was nobody better on the phones than Hood.
Yeah.
That boy could do it. But boy, talk about a devious. Boy, that boy was sneaky as shit.
Really?
I'll tell you a story. This is years and years ago.
Okay.
I was sitting in the office. I lived in Albuquerque at the time. We had this. I owned this club.
Okay.
But I was down here looking at the books, and the manager had gone on a short, 2-day sabbatical or whatever to get the hell out of here. So I was running the club for a couple of days, and I was sitting in the office. And this is during the day.
Yeah.
My food purveyor comes in.
Okay.
Nice young woman, and she sits down, and we're going over the food order and talking, and she notices a headshot of Hoodie laying on the desk.
Okay.
And she's, "Oh my God, he was so funny last night." And I said, where'd you see him? And she said, "He came to our company function last night." And I did. Yeah, she said they hired him to come in, and it was our annual, meeting. And he was so funny. God, he was great. And I was good. "How much you guys pay him?" She goes, $400. And I said, "Oh, okay."
Good to know.
So here comes Hood walking in the door about a half an hour later. And I said, "Sit down, you son of a bitch." And I said, "What's the deal?" I said, "You're sitting here and you're answering the phones, fielding phone calls."
Right.
"Hey, can we hire a comic?" "Well, hell yeah, I know just the right guy." So he went out and did the gig and didn't say a damn word.
Didn't say a thing about it.
I caught him red-handed.
Oh, what did he say? I know he had to go.
He said, here's your $200.
Here's your fortune.
So, yeah. So anyway,
Gary's a good guy. Gary, unfortunately, people, he passed away. Was it last year? Was it year
2016?
2016.
So it'll be 2 years in June.
Wow.
But he's missed. I mean, a lot of the local comics really miss him.
Yeah.
And he was invaluable to me because he was that kind of liaison bridge between me and the local comics.
Yeah.
And he got his back scratched a lot by those guys.
Yeah.
They paid homage to him.
Yeah.
And did his bidding for him, and he ruled the stage on open mic night.
Yeah, he did. How do you think is the scene, the local scene in Tucson?
It's good. It's strong. We get at least 35 to 40 comics a week, which is good for for our little town.
Yeah.
And we do little presentations before the show, talk to the comics about what they need to do to get better, the mechanics and things.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how to do your act.
Right.
I tell you a few mechanics, move the microphone out of your face, and don't run back and forth on the stage. Try to command the audience's attention. But I don't tell them how to write their act.
Gotcha.
Like I don't tell you guys what to do as far as your material.
Right.
I've just never done that.
Did you ever work with, or did he ever come in here and work Pablo Francisco? Because he's from Tucson, right?
Pablo started here.
He started here.
Pablo started here in 1989.
Wow. We got to edit that out. We don't know if Pablo.
Oh yeah, nobody knows.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I ran into him in Sacramento, and we worked. He was so nice. He had me feature for him probably 4 or 5 times. One of the nicest guys in the world. It's sad that the drug habit has been so bad on him, but he's one of the nicest guys.
Well, he was young back then, way back then. Like I said, it was 1989. I think he started open mic night here.
How about Stanhope? Because he's from this area. He's around this area.
Stanhope, Doug the Dick Stanhope.
Oh no,
he hates clubs, man. He hates clubs, club owners. So I don't have any great things to say about him. Because he's never said anything good about us.
Why doesn't he what is this beef with club owners?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I do not know.
Huh? I didn't know that.
I know I went through Hoodie at one time that Hoodie would talk to somebody who knew him. I don't know. But Hoodie tried to get him in here one time. We told him we'll give you 95 to 100% of the door.
Right. They get the door. You get food and beverage.
Yeah. They never. I don't think they ever responded.
Wow.
And I've never reached out. I don't care.
Yeah.
Let him stay out there in Bisbee. That's where he lived, man. You ever been to Bisbee?
Never.
See, not too many people go out there.
How far is Bisbee from here?
Oh man. It's about probably 75. 80, 90 miles, something like that.
But isn't it right on the border?
It's right down there close to Douglas, which is right on the border.
Right on the border.
Bisbee's real close.
Okay.
But Bisbee's a cute little town. It reminds me of, near my hometown in Colorado Springs, it reminds me of Manitou Springs, Colorado.
Okay.
Little twisty main street, and it's nestled in the valley out there. It's you wouldn't think it's in the desert.
Did you ever own a club in Colorado?
Well, I had an interest in Looney's.
You did?
It's called Looney's now. But it was, at one time, it was called Laffs when I was booking it.
Yeah.
I booked it for 3 years. Looney's was, we got my in-laws started.
Looney.
Well, here's what happened.
Okay.
Jeff Valdez, who probably nobody remembers unless you've been doing comedy or comedy business for the last 30, 35 years.
Okay.
Jeff Valdez started a club in Colorado Springs called the Comedy Corner. Very successful room. And he just wanted to get rid of it and go to Hollywood.
Okay.
And go into Latino television.
Okay.
Producing Latino
content,
comedy TV. And so he would call me and he said, Gary, man, I want to sell the room. Buy it from me. And over the years, this probably took place over the course of 3 to 5 years. He finally called me one day and he said, come on, man, I want to sell the room to you. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And he made me an offer I couldn't refuse. Well, I turned around to my father-in-law.
Okay.
Who died just a few weeks ago, by the way.
Oh, man, sorry, yeah.
And I feel bad.
Yeah.
So now we ended up not talking to each other for fucking 20 years. But anyway, he was my stepfather-in-law.
Okay, I got you.
And his wife was my mom's mother.
Gotcha.
That is, she's gone too, but that was my wife's mother. And they wanted to do a room in Colorado Springs, and I thought, here it is. So I loaned a big bundle of cash, and I struck the deal with Valdez to carry the paper on that room.
Right.
Get in there and took it over.
Okay.
And so I booked it for 3 years to help him out. Went up there and painted the room, and it was called Laffs for 3 years.
Okay. All right.
And then got into a little payment issue.
Got you.
And he changed the name to Looney's.
So it's Looney's now.
Yeah, and then I had one in Oklahoma City too.
You did?
Yeah, back in the 90s.
Was it Laffs in Oklahoma?
Laffs Comedy Warehouse. It was in. Do you know where Bricktown is in Oklahoma?
Yeah, I know where Bricktown is.
It was down at 310 East Sheridan.
Really?
Right by the ballpark.
Was there because what's there now? Not a Funny Bone, a Looney Bin.
Looney Bin.
Was there a Looney Bin at that time?
No, there was a Joker's.
Okay, all right.
Joker's was. Remember? You don't remember Joker's?
I can't. No, definitely.
Damn,
not.
I'm old. Damn, I'm old. But that was Joker's.
So who's the guy that? Do you know the people that run Looney? Looney's is Eric somebody. I can't.
No, I know Eric. Eric. I think it was Eric who was a bartender there.
Okay.
I'm only going by what I hear through the family.
Right.
And then he booked the room for a while.
Okay.
And turned it over to him.
Gotcha.
But they sold the club to Eric and his dad. I think that's what I hear through the grapevine.
Yeah,
the family grapevine. My son's uncle, therefore, because he's he's my father-in-law,
Right.
although he's only a year and a half older than me.
Even though he was your father-in-law.
Well, here's what's funny. He married a woman 10 years his junior. I married a woman 10 years my junior. He married a woman 10 years his senior. I'm sorry, I got that backwards. His senior, I married a woman 10 years my junior.
Yes.
So we were pretty close in age.
Yeah, I got you.
And so being my father-in-law, his son becomes my son's uncle.
Yeah.
And, that's it. And then I know when his dad died that, he posted some not so nice things about,
Oh, about you?
about me,
Oh, God.
That's all right. It's all right.
Why, why even bring that up?
This was me.
Yeah.
And that's me on top. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. Well, look.
But a lot of family bullshit went on.
Yeah, because of that. You know why they say it? I mean, obviously, hindsight's 20/20, but they say never mix family and money, family and business.
I tell you.
Right. So the minute you gave them that loan, it kind of sealed the fate on the friendship.
You're the greatest guy in the world when they need it.
Yes.
But then when you want your money back,
then you're an
asshole. Like you're a greedy dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hey, Randy! Shout out to Randy Butler there. But anyway, it's just
Yeah.
It's the nature of the business.
So what would you say,
everybody?
Because I try to keep it at 30 minutes or 35. What would you say to this next generation of comics?
Don't do it. Run.
I knew you were going to say that.
No, I just think you got to want it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's changed in 30, 35 years. You got to want it.
Okay. Yeah. I would agree.
You have to. I mean, get ready because it's full of rejection.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard work to write a good act.
I agree.
And to young comics starting out open mic night or just getting going, what I tell my locals here, it's the hardest thing to pound through their thick little heads.
Yeah.
Is when you get a good 3 to 5 minutes in your local club, put that in your repertoire, put it on your 3x5 card, and that's what you do in guest sets.
Yeah.
Don't do new shit on guest spot night.
Oh, this is
when you got
so
a professional
valuable.
crowd in front of you,
Yes.
when you've got a professional crowd in front of you, don't go up there and do new crap. Do your open mic night stuff on open mic night and hone the act.
Yes.
Start building your act there.
Yes.
And that's what I see, that they go up there and do new stuff on guest spot night and they die.
Yeah.
And it just dejects them all to hell.
Yeah. This is good information, people. Listen, you want to listen to and talk to a booker who's been doing it for 31 years. All you can do is gain invaluable advice. I'm telling you, I can't say that enough because I hear this is what I think. This from a comics perspective. You, Bert Haas, Chicago, are both older bookers, but have been doing it for 30 years. And I hear from young comics all the time, oh, they're an asshole. And I said, yeah, but that asshole's been around and seen more comedy than we could imagine. And you'll learn something from them, right? And they just don't, it's almost like a coach in football.
Yeah,
they're an asshole, but they're trying to teach you something. If you listen, they're trying to teach you something.
Yeah.
And they don't get it.
It's funny you mentioned asshole because that's something I was thinking of when you asked me to do this podcast. And I thought, well, I got to tell them how all the comics think I'm an asshole. And I thought to myself, but ask them this one question.
Yeah.
How many of you have a bounce to check on?
Oh.
Yeah, see?
Oh, I agree.
They ain't going to call me asshole then.
No, they won't.
No.
And you get paid the same night. I've done some shows, the guy gives me the check 4 weeks later.
Yeah.
I won't talk about that.
And I've heard many stories about not getting paid at all.
Yes, I know.
Hell yeah. But,
well, thank you, man. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it. I seriously do.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. You have a good one. Thank you, guys. It's Father's Day Podcast.
Funny guy.
Oh, hey, we got one more show tonight at Laffs, 8 o'clock and 10:30. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I appreciate it, man. Hey, you're wearing your green, too.
Yeah, look, green pants, too, pal. Dark green, light green.
There we go.
Good to have it.
All right, thanks, man.
See you guys.
I appreciate it. All right. I'm going to stop this one. I think it was phenomenal.
I think that was